Welcome in. This is your odds checker betting preview for this week's AT&T Byron Nelson. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there is Geoff Fienberg. And Geoff, here we go. Decent little field the week before a major championship. This is going to be fun.
It certainly is, Rick. And fact of the matter, usually the week before the major championship, just look at the last handful. I mean, Spawn this year, Higo, and KH Lee. Help me remember who the other ones there last year. But I feel like the week we did Valero, I kind of went on this rant listing all of last year's winners before a major. Anyway, I'm here to say, I think with the field strength this week, Rick, it doesn't feel like those other ones. And I will probably end up taking a more regular tournament approach. I don't know. I just feel the field strength this week. We're finding this new trend in golf, Rick. Confidence is king. Doesn't matter where you won. Could have been against your little brother. It is so crucial to win. Every time they win, they acknowledge the wins that just allowed them to do it, regardless of how much we want to respect it. You know, going back to Phil's playing the senior tour before winning last year's PGA, got the win, said that changed everything for him in terms of outlook and maybe even preparation. So, and some of them got a win. Some of them got narratives around them that they could very well use a win before they got a win next, or shouldn't say got a win before they got those big moments next week, bigger moments.
And now you've got me down a rabbit hole here. If I'm reading this schedule correctly, Stewart Cink won before a major championship and after a major championship last year. He won the week before the U.S. Open and the week after I guess it would have been after the 2021 Masters. It was like that doubly long season.
Yeah, he won after the Heritage last year. So he definitely won the week after a major. I don't really remember him winning the week before a major. I think before that major would have been Palmetto potentially because they had to move the Canadian Open.
Yeah,
and that's normally the week before the US Open.
I don't think this schedule that I'm reading is
right. Sorry, I have to take responsibility for what just happened. I did put you in a rabbit hole, but let's just go right at it. The fact that this field just I think the stats bear it out. It's not just our perception. It feels significantly stronger than a normal week before a major championship. It's almost like the Scottish Open fields we get, Rick.
Yeah, 7 of the top 15 players in the world, and the hottest one is your favorite, 10-1 Scotty Scheffler. You're going to want to shop that as short as 7-1 in some places. BetMGM, amongst others, have Scotty at 10-1. Justin Thomas is 12-1, and that's kind of the tier by itself, Geoff, because then you can get into the early 20s, and that's where you get DJ and Spieth and Burns and Zalatoris, even throw Xander Schauffele in the mix. All of those names, the best available odds, 22-1. How do you like the top of the board?
Yeah, very interesting. I'm the crazy guy that's probably just overlooked Scheffler. Maybe it's just still too rich for my blood. I assume at some point, like he may have run out of wins, although we'll laugh at all of us who think that, I guess, when it seems so obvious. Justin Thomas, interesting, Rick. And there were even some bigger numbers out earlier this morning that even surpassed his odds to win next week at the PGA, which is such an event filled with so many wild cards. So relative to field strength, current form, kind of really needing a win. I know he was out at Southern Hills on his Monday this week, but I think maybe the laissez-faire attitude could work for JT. A birdie party certainly could. So if you're asking me to go to the top, it's actually JT, maybe 90 times out of 100 if having to make that decision. And I'm one of those people, like of all the guys we consider super elites, I give JT a real hard time. So the fact that I'm kind of warming up to it potentially should tell you something. Beyond that, into the 20s, I don't care that's a week before a major. Like Sam Burns, if I want to bet him, Rick, he's just got this, of all the, I hate saying it, but of all the losers I like to bet, I wish they had a little bit of Sam Burns's moxie. You know, they wouldn't have 0 wins, I promise you. So I don't care that it's a week before a major. This guy just is a winner. and he just likes to win. And Zalatoris would be the other guy in the 20s that has to have my attention. I can't like dismiss it. I can't quit it. Part of it now, I think, with the number is getting cocky and trying to call it, but I could be there.
You got to shop Zalatoris specifically here. 14-1 at DraftKings, 22-1 at BetMGM. JT, it's May 9th. Doesn't have a win in 2022. It's been a long time since he's gone a year without a victory, entering a very important time of his year. There are two big gaps on this board here, Geoff. The first one we already talked about. Basically, the guys at the top, and then there's a gap to 22-1. Then there's a gap from the 22s to the 35s. That's where you can find Koepka, Matsuyama, and Neiman. And then there's just a smaller gap to Gooch at 45-1. That's the guy shorter than 50.
Really sort of interesting range. My eyes would probably go to the latter two in Gooch and Neiman. Brooks, he always gets my respect. Like, there's no red ink through it yet. You got to think it through. He's at the point where I don't care that it's not a major. Like, he has so much self-pride that I feel like any win like really is important right now. Matsuyama, Rick, we haven't seen him in a long time. So, you know, he's a hard guy to gauge. And with the major next week, it's almost like, is he going to be like, I'm not betting him over a guy in form. And Joakim Niemann's been playing well, makes lots of birdies. Taylor Gooch makes lots of birdies. Jason Kokrak, even in great, I don't want to say great form, I take that back. You know, things are starting to trend right back in the proper direction. I don't want to be part of Hideki's warm-up.
The Joaquin Niemann stat profile is very similar to the Will Zalatoris stat profile for the last like 24, 28 rounds. Someone that has certainly caught my attention this week. As we get into the 50s, you mentioned Jason Kokrak, Geoff. Tommy Fleetwood is there as well. And then to take a phrase from you, all the losers that I always bet, Adam Hadwin, Aaron Wise, Johnny Vegas, Seamus Power, they're also in the 50s here.
Yeah, Wise, we're starting. If he plays really well again this week, Rick, it's going to be that full situation where you lose the number but don't get the win.
Right.
You know, anything over 50, you're still always happy to hit. You know, the number's far from, you know, really losing its steam. But if he has another week that's looked like the other ones, then we lose the number and we never get the win out of it. So he's certainly one to track. Fleetwood, I'm always such a fan, but this course just seems, no disrespect, too easy for Tommy. Like, I feel like tougher tracks are kind of where he somewhat plays his best golf or has his opportunity to play his best golf. If I need like a 24 under winning score, which I don't think is an unrealistic, you know, just guess at this moment, he's not really the type of player I like to wager on. And even, you know, just nipping a little farther back, Adam Scott at a court, like, it's another guy. Like, I really like betting Scott. I don't know if this sort of like birdie rate is going to work for that sort of player. So birdie rate is kind of really important to me this week.
Yeah, and the Tommy Fleetwood stat profile is one that is reliant on the short game, which is very good when par is a good score. Par is going to be losing you a lot of ground on the field this week with how many birdies we expect them to kind of take a crack at. So you're right. I think you need somebody who can go pretty low for 4 days.
Yeah, and so staying in this range, the guy that does have my attention, especially when shopping the grid, could be those 66-1s on Maverick McNeely, Rick. He's shown an ability in some of those shorter course birdie party events to play very well in. This course is longer, but par 3 scoring, the long irons, you know, he seems to play a guy whose game is going to transcend from coast to coast, and it's time to put something on the mantle, baby.
I would love that if he could pull through. I'd also love it if Lonto Griffin could do it at 80. He is playing much better as of late. His biggest weakness around the green. Again, if you need it, you weren't going to win anyway. There are some compelling options in the 80s and even getting into the triple digits, Geoff. But we talked about it. This is a much stronger field than kind of normal before a major championship. Are you venturing down this far?
Normally in a week before a major, I would probably come on with a cluster of players, but the field is just too strong. Am I likely going to swing and miss on the good player that I deem is going to bring the attitude in the game the week before a major and avoid that look ahead? We talk about it in every other sport. The Bills are playing the Chiefs in week 7 and they're playing the Texans in week 6, and you're doing a football show or paranoid about how they're going to play in that sort of game. But there are too many good players here for me to think all of them are going to get caught up in this.
There's just
too much money. Too many good things come from winning right now, be it a major. I know those are the legacy changers, but too many good things come in the immediate present for winning that I am not of the belief. I don't want to dismiss the fact that it could be a tune-up for some, but there are too many good players who have hyper motivation to get in the winner's circle. I'll say that.
I agree, and I don't think I'm venturing down here too much either. I will just point out there are some sizable discrepancies in odds down here. If you're interested in someone like Christian Bezuidenhout, as short as 60, as long as 100, Patton Kizzire as short as 65, as long as 100. So if you are getting down here, at least get your money's worth. So Geoff, we can kind of cap it with this, because we've kind of talked about how different this is from most major championships, and it's probably going to be a higher end card than most. How much decision making do you still have to do before this thing kicks off on Thursday, or are you pretty focused on the guys that you want?
I've spent way too much time looking at it already, and now it's just sort of, it's that tough part, Rick, where I got to decide like who's going to be that first man off the card sort of territory. And those are really scary. But I guess I'd say at the very top for me, JT. In that next tier, Burns and Willie. Going back into the 30s, it's Hideki, Gooch, Mav. I'm not betting all these guys. These are just the names that are circling. Adam Hadwin, as you certainly mentioned. So those are the names that I am swimming around. Right. And I would have said Homa last week and didn't end up betting it. So swimming around them doesn't really count for much when it comes time to making those final decisions. I would love to catch something the week before, give it all back for a major. That'd be fun. That'd be real fun.
Best. You just hop off the account real nice before all the fun stuff comes in there, and you get all the props and everything.
Man, not after like deposit the week of a major because you're just flush. Woo, could lead to trouble, but as long as it's responsibly,
that's right.
Get in trouble responsibly, we're okay. Have some fun. It's outright winners. If you're not betting outright winners recreationally,
yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck, and like I don't know, call a friend. Like that's it. There are other ways to be more methodical in this game. Outright winners, it's just for recreation, have some fun, and all that monumental Sunday sweat and a chance at a Sunday hero.
That's Geoff Fienberg. You can find him on Twitter at gfienberg17, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been your odds checker betting preview for this week's AT&T Byron Nelson. Good luck.